Hi, I'm Catherine Pye. I'm a senior engineer here at Wyre Council. I also manage our out-of-hours duty officers and I'm an emergency planner. Well, quite a lot of properties within Wyre are at risk of flooding. So my advice to people who wanted to know their flood risk would be to log on to the government's website www.gov.uk, where you can go into the flooding area, you can put in your postcode and it will tell you whether you are at risk of coastal flooding, river flooding or surface water flooding. Residents can receive flood warning updates by signing up to the Environment Agency's flood warning scheme. Again, you can do that through the .gov.uk website. When you sign up for the scheme, if a flooding alert, flood warning or severe flood warning is issued in your area, you'll be alerted by either email, text or phone, depending on what option you selected when you joined the scheme. There's a number of ways that residents can become flood resilient. The first way really is to look at, have you been flooded before? How were you flooded? And are there any steps that you can take to stop that happening again? So there's lots of products available on the market that you could use. You can buy little things that fix onto your air bricks, which the frame stays there permanently and you can slide the plate in the frame when you get a flood warning. You can look at if your front door, for example, needs replacing. If you're replacing a timber one, you could look at getting a UPVC door that has a flood seal on it. You could also look at installing a frame for a floodgate. There's numerous different measures that you can use out there. They don't all have to be proprietary products. You can stop yourself from flooding through the simple use of a black plastic bag and some soil from your garden. You just need to be prepared. If you take steps now when you're not in danger of flooding, it's so easy to implement those measures when you have a flood warning. In the recent floods we had in November 2017, a number of properties were flooded due to sewer surcharge. One way you can stop that, and it's actually a relatively cheap thing to install, is by having non-return valves on your drains. If you think you might be at risk of flooding, write a flood plan for your family and your property. Highlight the things that are important to you that you might want to save. What would you do in a flood? Very often you panic and you forget what the important things are to you. So if you write a flood plan, you can follow it step by step. You can save things that are important. It gives you a guide of what to do. You can have phone numbers, people you need to contact, where things are. It's really easy to implement if you get yourself organised when you're not in an emergency situation. There's lots of advice I could give to residents who might be at flood risk. I could be here all day. So to be honest, they're probably best going to the council's website, which is www.wyre.gov.uk/flooding. There's lots of useful advice there. There's the council's own flood plan there. There's a particular section about community flood groups and community resilience. There are a number of flood action groups within Wyre. The Churchtown Flood Action Group and the Thornton Flood Action Groups are particularly active, but there may be one in the area you live in, and perhaps you and a number of local neighbours would like to get together and form one of your own. We hold a quarterly flood forum, and local councillors, the local utility companies, Lancashire County Council, the Environment Agency and the flood action groups and other residents of Wyre who have flooding as a vested interest are welcome to attend the meetings. So if you'd like to get involved, then feel free to contact us to find out when the next meeting will be.
Tell me what we're doing here at the boating lake.
Yep, today we've invited members of Wyre's Flood Forum and some of the flood action groups to come to Marine Lakes to see how some of the pumps that we've bought recently work, what their capacity is and how we could use them within the community during flooding events.